Hello there. Tonight's video features 3 true creepy Walmart encounters. Make sure to get comfortable. Sit back, relax, stay sinful. Number 1. I live in a very populated city. In approximately a 5-mile radius of my house, there's at least 3 major grocery stores, one of which is Walmart. Being a 16-year-old girl, I visit Walmart regularly if I need notebooks or something for school, or if I just want to browse makeup and things of that sort. I've never been uncomfortable going shopping by myself. I actually enjoy it, and I've never had any bad experiences being on my own. Until one day, a few months ago. On this particular Sunday, my parents were working, and my little brother was at a baseball game, so I had been home alone all day. I needed body wash and a new lanyard for school. The school I attend requires we wear IDs around our necks on a lanyard. I think that most high schools are doing this now, and it's become more common. Anyway, my lanyard broke the Friday before, so that was my main reason for going out. I got to Walmart and parked like I had 100 times before. I went in and went straight to the purse section where the lanyards were. I walked down the aisle and there was a man looking at wallets hanging on display. I didn't think much of him. He was probably in his mid-50s, average height and weight, wearing jeans and a brown t-shirt. He looked just like an old grandpa. "Hi there," he said with a big grin. "Hi," I said with a grin back. "How are you today?" he said. "I'm good. How are you?" I said, still browsing for a lanyard I liked. "Great, I'm just doing some shopping today." Another big smile from the man. I thought it was weird that he explained that he was shopping, since I could clearly see him looking at all the wallets on the racks, and I could have assumed he was shopping. I decided it was nothing and moved on my way. I found what I needed and made my way over to the body wash. I was in no rush to be anywhere, so I was leisurely walking up and down the aisles, smelling anything that sounded interesting, when he walked by the aisle, and he smiled at me again. At this point, I was a little uneasy. I've always been taught to trust my gut instinct, and something just didn't feel right. I had never had a conversation with anyone in this Walmart before, and now it seemed that this man was following me. I texted a friend of mine to tell her that I thought I was being followed, and where I was, just as a precautionary measure. I decided that maybe it was a coincidence. I mean, he could have needed soap too, so I continued on my way shopping. I went a few aisles up to face wash, and then when I had what I needed, I walked around the corner where I ran into him for the 3rd time. "Excuse me, young lady, can I tell you something?" he said. Yeah," I said with a quivery smile. "You are very beautiful." "Oh, thank you." I was very uncomfortable at this point. "Are you married? Mind yourself that I'm only 16 and definitely didn't look old enough to be married." "No," I said. "Me either." He said this with a grin that turned my heart to ice and my stomach to stone. "Do you have a boyfriend?" Yeah." I stammered as I forced a smile on my face to try and hide my fear. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time. He began to speak again when a man, probably 17 or 18, standing in the aisle perpendicular to us, looking at cologne, walked over and said, "Yeah, she does. She's with me." He gave me the biggest smile and stood super close to me, as if he was the boyfriend I had said yes to having. "Oh, I figured," said the man. He seemed very uncomfortable at the presence of another male. "Good luck to you two." And with that, he walked away. I turned towards the man and thanked him for coming to my rescue. He said he could tell by the tone of my voice and look on my face something was up and was hoping I would play along with him. He wanted me to check out to make sure the man didn't follow me out the store, and I was cautious before turning onto my street, since I did live so close to the store. That was the last I ever saw of either of them. I have no idea what the old man's intentions were, but sometimes you just know in your gut that something's wrong. And that day, I knew. Something about him was terrifying and sinister. I'm so grateful for the guy who helped me out. But to the old man who was following me in Walmart, let's not meet. Number 2. Hey guys, let me start this off by saying writing is not my strong point. Anyways, it was approaching one of my niece's birthday, and she was at the age where I think she would appreciate a gift from her uncle. I'm a poor college student with no car, so I commute everywhere and anywhere, knowing that I always take my backpack and headphones anytime I leave. So I'm at Walmart, and I have this care package planned out for my niece. She loves Elsa from Frozen, so I decided to get her a costume, doll, and candy, all Frozen themed, of course. Like I mentioned earlier, any place I travel, I usually have my headphones in. This is a kind of pain to explain, but this detail defines the whole story. Now I'm so lazy I use a third-party music app instead of music app included on my iPhone. Unfortunately for me, this requires a good internet connection. And living in rural parts of Denver, my music ends up cutting in and out, and then stops playing altogether. Now at this point, I have one item left on my list, and I'm in the toy section of Walmart looking for an Elsa toy that I think my niece could take care of. As soon as I know it, this mom leaves her 2 children beside me. I'm not sure why, but this has happened before. Maybe I have a trustworthy face. Let me tell you all something now. I'm not fucking stupid. There are so many strange things that happen in this world that I would be a fool to leave these 2 young children alone. And for the record, I don't know these people at all. Kind of a pain, but I figure it's just me being a good person. I don't even know how some people can do this. This is literally a woman leaving her 2 children at a section of the store and then telling them to wait for a short while. Anyways, one girl's around 4 years old, and her sister was around 1 to 2 years old. These girls were fucking sitting ducks, man. The older sister had one missing crock, and her younger sister had pajamas on and a pacifier in her mouth. I felt even more obligated to stay until their mom came back. And I was right. Not even 5 minutes passed since their mom left, and some fool came up and started talking to these girls. This tool said all the same generic stuff any pedophile would say. I have lots of toys and candy in my car, and a dog too. I was like, is this fucking guy serious? He probably thought I wasn't listening because I had my headphones in. But like I said, my music cut out a long time ago. Soon as he mentioned his dog, I immediately made my way up to him. He was crouched down talking to the girl about the stuffed animal she had in her hand. My dog is really big. He's not pink, but he's nice. Would you like to come and meet him? I'm crouched down and pushed the girl back a few steps. Immediately, the guy moved back a few steps himself. I extended my arm, shook my finger back and forth, gesturing him, no, not today. I gave the guy a very harsh look, like I knew exactly what he was doing. I just stared at him very attentively. The guy was very short in stature and had short, stringy hair with a tan pilot jacket. He was also wearing some very beat-up New Balance tennis shoes. He looked very plain. At this point, I was about to pounce on him and hold him down. I'm not even a big guy myself. I just don't stand for any bullshit. Before that could happen, he immediately got up, turned right, and headed out the garden exit. I waited with the little girl and her sister until their mom came back. I said, yeah, you should not leave your children alone. Some guy was talking to one about some generic kidnap bullshit. Those were my exact words to her. I mean, there's no denying what just happened. Anyways, I told her she won't be as lucky next time. The mom just shook her head up and down and swallowed any spit that was in her mouth in a very harsh gulp. I don't know if something bad would have happened, but if my music could not stop playing, let's just say neither one of those girls could barely speak. So creepy guy at Walmart, if we meet again, I'm gonna whoop your ass. Come try me again, boy. Number 3. I live in a military town, so everyone here is either in the military, like my husband and I, or they are the locals, backwoods, redneck type you find near the Bible Belt. Most of the general population is pretty poor, a lot of homeless, a lot of, well, there's no nice way to put it, white trash type folk. I live near a Walmart that I usually go shopping at, and during the day it's filled with your usual Walmart shoppers. At night, however, it's usually full of weirdos. Some normal people there, of course, just trying to grab last-minute groceries or medicine or whatever. But some people who just don't have anywhere else to be, or they're high or drunk, and Walmart is open 24/7, though they just come to hang out there like it's a damn arcade or something. Anyway, it was like 11:30 at night, and I realized my daughter was out of formula. I have to make her bottles for the day every morning for daycare, so I had to get formula before morning. I told my husband I'd be back in a few minutes and drove down the road. In the baby aisle, I grabbed her formula and stopped to look at a cute dress for her. I was looking through the baby clothes when I saw someone out of the corner of my eye, and I felt the hairs on my arms stand up. I glanced at him and then did a double take. This man was standing there, just staring at me. He didn't seem to be bothered by the fact that I noticed him. I did this weird, nervous, fake laugh and said something like, "Oh, these are so cute, huh?" He didn't say anything, just smirked and kept staring. The dude was just a few inches taller than me, maybe 5'9", white, with long hair, and he looked either homeless or severely down on his luck. He had one hand on the crotch of his pants, kind of nonchalantly like it just rested there. He was maybe 6 feet away from me. I started to get nervous and felt my palms start sweating. I said something dumb about "have a good night" and just kind of fast walked away. But in my haste to get away from him, I turned left toward the back of the store. I decided to grab a 12-pack of Coke Zero, in addition to the formula, and then decided to go out there. I hadn't grabbed a cart, so I couldn't really carry much more. On my way back to the front of the store, I heard him shuffling behind me, keeping pace with my speed walk. I tried to calm myself down and write it off as him just going to check out. I got into the 10 items or less line. He got in line behind me. He had no items, but he pulled a candy bar off the shelf and set it on the counter behind my stuff. At this point, I could smell him, and he stank like body odor and stale beer. I turned my head away from him and tried to move a little closer to the woman in front of me. He moved closer too. Then I felt something brush my left butt cheek, turned towards him sharply and said, "Hey!" He mumbled an apology. Keep in mind I'm wearing jeans and a baggy t-shirt. Not that it should matter, but I looked like crap. It's what I'm trying to get at. I turned back towards the counter and the cashier started ringing up my 2 items. 2 seconds later, the man pinched my other butt cheek. Hard. At this point, I turned around and said very loudly, "Hey, stop touching my ass!" He turned red and the cashier froze. She asked if there was a problem. "Yes," I replied. "This guy just pinched my butt and I don't know him, and he's creeping me out." She looked unsure of what to do and asked him to please stop, and please step away from me before she called security. He did wordlessly, and then just stood there glaring daggers at me. I pretended I didn't notice and paid for my things. As soon as she bagged up the stuff, I booked it out of the store. I got maybe 10 steps into the parking lot when I heard the doors open behind me. Panicking, I turned and saw him marching directly toward me. I bolted. My car was 2 lanes away, and he yanked out my keys and unlocked it while I ran. I could hear him behind me, grunting and panting. I felt adrenaline kick in and my tears in my eyes. I ran, swinging the bag and case of soda, flung myself into the driver's seat, and turned the key in the ignition before the door even shut. I threw it in reverse without thinking, just as he slammed his body onto the hood of my car and yelled something. I peeled out of the lot at almost 30 miles an hour, and he flew off my hood and into the ground. I drove the mile home going well over the speed limit, breathing hard and feeling like I was going to hyperventilate. And I drove the mile home. When I got home, I still had chills. I raced inside and locked the door. My husband wanted to go find him and beat his ass, his solution for pretty much anything. But I just wanted to shut the windows and crawl into bed. I don't know what makes people do things they do. Do they not realize how terrifying they come off as? I don't even want to leave my house without mace and a taser and a rail gun. Thanks for listening, guys. This is The Sinful Savant. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to The Sinful Society. I need holiday stories, guys. Please email me any holiday or winter-related stories to my email. My email, again, is in the description box below. Until we meet again, stay sinful.